Hello, filmmakers and film enthusiasts, and welcome to another edition of 48 Stories. I'm your host, Ron Tomano, city producer of the Albuquerque 48-Hour Film Project. 48 Stories is our television podcast show where we get to share the stories of people who have participated in the Albuquerque 48-Hour Film Project, along with our community leaders who are making a difference in the filmmaking industry. And today we have Pagliaccia Pictures here. Thank you so very much for joining me here.
Thanks.
Our pleasure.
Thank you.
So first question I want to ask you, the formation of Pagliaccia Pictures actually was big shoes initially for the 48. Talk about big shoes and what made you decide to change your name to Pagliaccia Pictures.
So we've been kind of making movies together on and off for, I want to say, 3 years now or so. The first 48 we did, we had someone else managing the project as the group leader, and he just picked a different name. We hadn't really formalized too much on a group name at that point, but the membership of the group switched around a little bit, and we've kind of been more brand oriented, I guess, since then.
So how did that dynamic change? You said you had a switch out of different people, new people coming in. So how different was the dynamic of your team, Big Shoes, for the first 48 compared to Pagliaccia Pictures?
I think we've always tried as a group to both reinforce relationships we have together and keep making movies together, and also try to invite new people in each time we do the 48 or other projects. At least for me, the community building is a big part of this. I like to meet new people, kind of grow that network, and also just see other people's creative ideas.
So when you're in the writing process for creating said films, for creating any 48s or any individual projects, is it more of an open forum where you call in your collective to go, okay, what ideas do you have for our next project?
We've kind of done both. So for our longer term non-48 projects, usually there's a particular person that's trying to kind of push the project, and they write the script and come up with the ideas and so on. For the 48, we tried a few different things. So for Offside, the one that we're going to talk about here, we had kind of an open forum where we all threw in ideas and just kind of came up with it on the fly. And it was interesting, very stressful. So we've experimented with different techniques, but we always try to incorporate everyone's input, creative input.
I heard a little rumor that the way you write your scripts is the Larry David method of writing, which is just coming out with an outline and relying on improv. How different is doing that compared to just writing a script?
I've been very pleased with the results, but I'm going to pass that off to the other two because they're the ones who have actually been improvising this.
Lenore.
Okay, I'm on the spot.
Yeah, so Lenore, from your perspective, so are you just an actress, or do you actually write, you shoot, you do it all, or?
I occasionally write a couple of things, but I would say for the most part, I predominantly do acting type of stuff.
So how different was it for you?
As weird as it sounds, I actually find it easier to do improv than to memorize actual lines. And usually I get a chance to kind of get to know the character, kind of get into it and leave myself out the door, so to speak.
So do you come up with a character backstory before you improv?
Oh yeah, I do that regardless of how big or small my roles are. I did that with background roles even to really get into it.
So let's talk about the backstory character that you created for Offside.
So I kind of used a little bit my own personal experience from past job positions that I didn't really like, and so on and so forth, which like yeah, some people say don't do that, don't use personal experience, but that's just what I did for that. And kind of just use that and go oh, I hate this woman, like but damn it, I need this job too. So
and how about you, Liz? So we haven't seen Offside yet. We are going to see it in just a minute here, but we're just going to talk about some of these character backstories first. Your character was the required character in our film, Debbie Poe, a sports reporter.
Yep.
And you were one mean sports reporter in that film. So I have to ask,
yes,
were there any television personalities you were channeling to come up with that type of character? Because, man, you were scary.
That is an excellent question. And I think that there was a variety of people I was thinking about. I mean, one of them could be Meryl Streep from, what was the film that she was in with Vogue
The Devil
magazine?
Wears Prada.
Yeah, The Devil Wears Prada. So I think that Meryl Streep's character from The Devil Wears Prada, but also so many characters in sitcoms, powerful women that are frustrated, angry, goal-oriented, perhaps misunderstood, hard driving, aggressive people. So I think that I just channeled several people simultaneously. I think for me it helped because I was helping to write the show, the film. So during the writing process, I was thinking, okay, if I'm going to be Debbie, then this is kind of how I'm going to be working with her, and this is going to be my tone. And with these long form improvs that we do, I have like key words and key sentences already in my head before I even say them. And so I know what I want to say. I think there was a scene with Lenore where I was yelling at her and I actually blew her hair. And because my voice and my tone and my breath was so intense. So these are just things that kind of happen on the fly, but you have to have a person in your head. And also I do use my own life as part of my inspiration, because you have to have a little bit of yourself or else it's not going to be a genuine performance. So I probably used my melancholic, temper-infused side of me, which is, we all have multiple sides to ourselves, and that was something I used too. So
let's kind of step backward a little bit and talk about the beginnings of Offside, the genre you pulled. What genre did you pull during our kickoff event?
We had mystery.
Mystery.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the prop was an earring, and the line of dialogue was, "There's something missing here."
Oh. Mm-hmm.
And so you incorporated that into an outline, as we just discussed. So when you incorporate those elements into an outline, how do you make sure each one is represented in a film?
So I think we lucked out a little bit in that mystery and there's something missing here seem to go together pretty well. We also had plenty of actors that had earrings. So I think finding some way to put the props in and the elements wasn't too hard, but we had a specific goal with Offside to not just include those elements, but to heavily emphasize them. Mm-hmm. We have kind of objectives for each 48 hour we do. That was our objective for that, was we're going to heavily drive the story based on the elements that we got. So there isn't just an earring popping up somewhere. Mm-hmm. It's a crucial part of the plot. Mm-hmm. You know, we had the actor didn't just say the line once, he kept saying it over and over again.
I would love to get more into the film, but I think our viewers at home would love to see the film first. Here it is from Pagliaccia Pictures, Offside.
Ferguson, two-time MVP, is having a good to great here on a bad to just god-awful team. Just takes on DeMarco on his left, Drez back on his right, Drez back on the left, Drez down the byline.
That's clearly offsides.
Maybe the last we see of Drez
God,
Ferguson.
these refs.
Coach is indicating a change.
How was your day before this?
Oh, I hung out with Megan. I told you about my girlfriend, Megan.
Yeah, Megan. Yep, Megan.
I think I'm gonna propose.
What? You guys have been dating for like a week.
No, it's been longer than that. I just don't know how much more I can take. She just picks and picks and picks at you until there's nothing left.
This is my show. It's the Debbie Poe Show. You have no brain cells, right? Because you've been spending them doing your hair. You're a lame brain twit. You are my assistant, barely my assistant. Don't ever mess up my interview, my light, or my vibration. You hear me?
I don't like seeing you coming home.
I am the star, and
defeated
I will tell
every
you
day.
when you can touch me and when you cannot. You should be doing my hair. You should be making sure that there's no lint on my jacket and my makeup is perfect. That is what you do. Little girls, it's the Debbie Poe Show. It's not your show, it's not your show. Don't give me bad vibes, and do not ever stand in my light or block me in any way.
You know, you don't have to keep working. I have to. You don't. I don't have any other options. Yes, you do. I mean, I would take care of you. I would do anything for you. Like, if you're... You okay?
As good as any other day.
What if I told you I've got a plan to get rid of all of our problems?
I don't think I'm crazy. I think it's gonna go well. I think she's gonna say yes. I'm really excited about it. I'm just happy I won't have to be in the dating world anymore, because she's something.
Yeah, well, good for you.
I hope she says yes.
You know HR doesn't give a shit, right?
Don't worry about HR. And I just wish she was gone.
Dispatch, calling Unit 48. We have a 1054 at the stadium. Report to scene ASAP.
That's us.
This sounds like it might be high profile, so try not to mess it up this time, clown.
On our way. Okay, please back away from the body. Back away. This is a crime scene. We need to back up, please. Thank you.
Sports is brutal. Don't forget that.
Do you see?
Start interviewing some.
Yeah. Can I talk with you? Why is Debbie Poe here?
We interviewed him earlier. Just wanted him to answer a few questions for the game. Yeah.
How do you know each other?
We're colleagues.
Debbie? Is it Debbie Poe?
Debbie Poe,
Debbie Poe.
I recognize you. I've
Yeah, thank you.
seen
thank
the
you.
show.
Yeah. Have you seen my show?
So you're an assistant to Miss Poe?
Yeah.
Okay. And what did you see when you got here?
Meg, is it?
Yeah.
I mean, you just saw a dead body. Are you doing okay?
I think so.
Debbie Poe.
You were the first one on the scene?
Yes, I
And you
was.
called 911.
I certainly did.
Okay.
Tragedy.
It's very-
Yeah, we listened to your show. I actually,
yes.
I'm noticing that you don't have an earring on one of your ears, and it actually.
We actually
is,
found one exactly
can you
like
see
it
that earring?
on our
It's actually-
victim,
is that
where your earring would
interesting?
be
They are
in his pocket.
Well, I
Exactly.
see
Phone as
too.
well.
It's
We'd
a
like
very
to-
common earring. I don't see
You
what's
seem
out of their
very
car.
calm
It
right
is
now. You seem
odd
very calm.
I'm calm.
For a
that
person
you
who
would
just saw
take
a
it on yourself
dead
to get
body.
right up to the body.
Did you notice at all that your boss was missing an earring?
We found an
You
earring
found an
on
earring
our
on
victim.
the body. Were you with her the whole time?
No, Meg and I, we were gone for at least 2 minutes.
Meg, and that's the other assistant?
Yeah, we...
All right, there's something missing here.
There could.
According to her, she just touched the body, but it would be odd that we find the earring inside the pocket.
We're just trying to get all the answers.
Is that what you saw? Because there is something missing here, and we need to figure out what that is.
Look, we have to investigate. You know, it doesn't look good for your boss. We found her earring on the body. Okay, and if you have seen anything,
There is something missing here.
if you've seen anything, you have to tell us. This is a waste of time. It's clearly the boss. Her earring is on the body.
Is that your Megan? Is that we just interviewed, is that your fiance? There is something missing here. That is your fiance.
What did you want me to say?
And that was Offside by Pagliaccia Pictures. And Pagliaccia Pictures is here in studio right now. And we're going to continue talking about their film Offside. So one of the questions I want to ask is location. Location. The garage was amazing.
So one of our group members, his apartment was right nearby. That was where we did our planning session. And we initially had the idea that we wanted to do the shoot somewhere downtown at night. Just the aesthetic, I think, is interesting, the lights at night and so on. Yeah. And the garage was there, and we decided to just go for it. And that's kind of our big group philosophy, is we just shoot stuff.
And just go for it.
And there's so many things you can do creatively with camera angles. I mean, that wonderful scene with the elevator, with all of the other actors who were co-sports reporters, that was perfect because it looked like kind of that grungy back end of a stadium. So it was really, I thought it was very effective.
And you said you used the natural lighting. Was that so? That was all natural lighting on set. Very, very impressive. It looked like you brought in a lighting kit. So, but do you actually have any type of bounce or anything that you used?
Yeah, for that project we did not have any extra lights. We did block the actors around the ambient garage lights, though. So we try to work with what's there already.
And I think I was wearing white too. Yeah, I was. So that the wardrobe bounced, reflected the light too.
How long did it take you to shoot, and how were you able to remain discreet?
I think we were shooting for maybe 3 hours.
Yeah, I remember getting home at 2 in the morning or something like that.
Yeah, and that is something that we do, is we do the shoot the night of. So we were there pretty late, which helped also with fewer crowds there.
So you just mentioned something really important, because typically a 48 team with their outline would do writing on Friday, shooting on Saturday, and editing Saturday night into Sunday. But you shoot everything Friday night, Saturday morning. First off, why is that dynamic so important for your team? Why shoot everything so quickly in that time frame?
I think it depends on your stylistic choices. So I'm very post-production heavy. I see the entire art of movie making, at least from my perspective, as being crafted in post. So everything up until that point is assembling the pieces. Not everyone does it that way. I mean, I've seen other people's projects where they put lots of effort into designing sets and spaces and physical lighting and stuff. So it's more front heavy. I think it's just my personal preference has been very back heavy. And thus, the more time I have in post to carefully do that tweaking, the better the end product. One thing that's been tough for me with the 48s is not enough time for sound design. I would always like to put more careful sound effects and things, but it's right up to the time limit. There's only so much you can do.
Right. So are you editing while you're shooting, or are you just, you said you shoot everything Friday into Saturday, so I'm assuming you shoot then edit, but do you find yourself at times editing while you're shooting, or importing or adjusting the footage?
No, we just shoot everything right away. It's just we try to shoot as fast as possible, just get as much material as we can as quickly as we can, and then just get out. And also because we're also just kind of guerrilla shooting in various locations, we don't really have time to go back and forth.
Do you have anybody else on your post team that assists you to edit these films?
So far for the 48s, it's been me doing the editing, and then we've had Carlos has typically done the music. And on a previous project, we had someone else do motion graphics. but not recently. So it's mostly just been the two of us.
Let's talk about when the film actually was in the theaters. When you saw Offside in the theater, what was your reaction when you saw it on the big screen and you saw the finished product completed in 48 hours?
Honestly, I was still pretty new to this acting game, so when I saw it, I was just like, holy crap, that's me up there.
I enjoyed the whole film. I thought all the acting was wonderful, and the editing and the camera angles. I loved the grittiness of the garage, and I enjoyed my character just because it's fun to watch an evil person do their thing. So, but I thought it was really fun to watch it, and I enjoyed it, and I enjoyed the audience's reactions. Yeah. I had an audition for a film, and the director saw this film, and he said, "You were such a jerk." and it was for a very sympathetic character that I was in this callback for. So I thought, okay, I've just lost a job. But it worked out great. But still, it's interesting how the character itself can make such an impact on someone and making such a strong impression.
What inspired you guys to go, okay, we're going to use the earring as the prop that basically more or less gets Debbie in trouble? Like, what inspired you to actually use that prop? Because you could have easily used the earring like just as a costume piece to an actor and whatnot. But what's really important is that you used it as a pivotal moment in the film. So what inspired you all to do that?
I guess I was thinking of it in terms of the grammar of filmmaking. If you want to show a close-up of something, it has to be story relevant, because that's what the viewer will assume. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, why am I looking at this earring that's not part of the story? And we wanted to really emphasize the prop, and therefore, to justify showing it really close over and over again, we decided to make it part of the story.
It's something that we always encourage filmmakers to do, is try to incorporate that prop into the story. Don't throw it out there, or throw it away. But as a team, because of these 48s, I'm assuming this inspired you to create more. I would love to hear more about the projects that you have worked on within the last year and the projects that you're planning to work on, because Pagliaccia Pictures is not just a 48-hour team. You guys are more or less of a collective. So I want to hear more about that.
Well, we've done big projects with both Lenore and Liz, so maybe they can each talk about their experiences. So with Liz and I did a long-running series of shorts called the Teddy Invitational. Mm-hmm,
mm-hmm. And it was wonderful because we shot this series of shorts through the pandemic. Mm-hmm. So for me as an actor, it kept me busy. I was thinking, I was in a team of people, like-minded artists, and I loved it. And it went through its arc, and we ended it on kind of a wacky, silly level post-pandemic, and it was perfect. It worked out great. And I think right now I have a little project that I need to edit with Colin's help about a wacky lifestyle cooking show.
Yeah, and then Lenore and I, over this past summer, worked on a CNN project that was fairly elaborate called Muted Dreams. Mm-hmm. Lenore, if you want to talk about your experiences with that.
Yeah, so I was actually kind of a little starstruck when I went on the set for the first time, mm-hmm. because it was definitely very well done, mm-hmm. very intricate, no details were lost. It was incredible, absolutely incredible. And I remember being so worried about getting through this, getting into character, mm-hmm. and everything. But as we kept going, it just became easier and easier as it went on. Mm-hmm. And ironically, it was I think it was the last day of shooting, the strike was announced, I think, that day. And I was just like, oh no, please, I want to finish this. I can't stop now.
So let's talk about your long form project that took you a year to complete. I mean, I saw this in the theaters personally at the Guild Cinema, and I was quite blown away with the story and also the way, your direction, because I thought the acting throughout was just beautifully done. So let's talk about that film. And yes, why did it take you a whole year to complete?
Yeah, so we started working on a movie called Falling Cranes about a year ago. I don't think Liz and Lenore were in that one. It was other actors. But the end movie ended up being about 45 minutes. It took a while because people were just working on things, other things off and on. Like, for example, I had the project with Lenore over the summer, so we had to kind of stop working on that for a bit. But it's as I'm sure you know, it's tough making a big project. There's so much post-production work. But I think it turned out really well. I'm very pleased with it. Particularly working on footage that I shot a year ago. It's it can be a little frustrating, like, oh, I wouldn't have done that now. But I think with enough polish, it came together and it turned out well.
How difficult was it to maintain continuity over a year?
So luckily, the actual shooting we only did over about 2 months, I want to say. So that was last fall we shot it, and we were able to shoot all of the scenes. So the footage was there, just sitting there waiting to be worked on. But we didn't have to do any pickup scenes or anything.
Okay, cool. So you were able to shoot everything like within how long did it take? Like a month or something like that?
I think it was about 2 months, mostly just the logistics of scheduling people.
Yeah.
Trying to get everyone in the same place at the same time. But we pulled it off, yeah, and the actors were great.
Before we go, because we're running short on time, I have 2 questions for you. 1, do you guys have a website or social media that we can all follow you on for upcoming projects?
We do have a YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/@Pagliaccia Pictures. I have a personal portfolio site, colinstapleton.com. We don't have a group site yet, so we're working on that.
The final question I'd like to ask you all is, what advice would you give to a filmmaker who may want to join the 48 for the first time, or any repeat filmmaker who may be doing this on their own or joining a new team? Any advice you would like to give?
I guess from the production side, just do it. I mean, so much of filmmaking is hands-on practice. I think it's easy to get stuck worrying about if you're doing it right and not actually make anything. But I'd like to hear what the actors think.
I think collaboration and definitely kind of maybe not mastering, but becoming pretty comfortable with improv is a big thing, because you have so little time and you just have to keep the ball rolling and keep going and stuff. So I just think those 2 things together are definitely essential, at least as far as like the acting side kind of goes.
Yeah, and I would second both what Lenore and Colin said. Also, I think have fun. Don't get in your head about it. Be spontaneous, be intuitive, listen to your inner voice, and keep things really simple. I've been on other 48s, and sometimes they get very complicated, and the simpler the better, because the story is going to come through. And make sure that your team is comfortable with each other, they're collaborative, egos are kind of suppressed. I know that's very hard to do, but it's about the team, and it's about having a good time. And then the product is going to be fantastic.
I think that's some wonderful advice, because as you said, people, sometimes teams will just be like, all right, how can we win this? How can we make it the best? And they lose key sight of the relationships that are being made, and also accepting the challenge to complete something, whether it's perfect or not, just having that challenge and having that opportunity. So thank you for your advice. Pagliaccia Pictures, we appreciate you so much for sharing your 48 story with us. Thank you for coming on our show today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And if you would like to share your 48 story with us on our show, please email us at albuquerque@48hourfilm.com. Tell us your connection to the Albuquerque 48-Hour Film Project and how you are making a difference in our New Mexico filmmaking community. You can rewatch this entire episode online or download the podcast at the platforms listed on your screen. Be sure to follow, like, and subscribe to us at ABQ48HFP, or go to our website, 48hourfilm.com/Albuquerque, for the latest information on all of our upcoming events and competitions. So until next time, Albuquerque, this is Ron Tomano saying, go make a movie.